Story for you in a second or two after I introduce Robert St. John's, restaurateur, chef, columnist, author, and friend of the program. Robert, good morning, sir. How are you? It's good to have you.
Good morning, Paul. Did you say Balding Trio? Am I part of that? I think I am.
Balding Trio, and that wasn't me. That Will said that. He's over in the corner there, as you can see. That Will said that, and he said he made me say that. So he has a story here, but here's the story. Go ahead, Will.
Insulting a man for being bald in the workplace amounts to sexual harassment in the UK.
Oh, in the UK?
Yeah. A panel.
Bring it on home.
A panel of balding judges have ruled it. They were all bald. They got this case in front of them, and they said, you know what? This is sexual harassment. You can't talk about our baldness. That's sexual harassment. You got to pay. So I don't know if this is going to be coming to the U.S. or not. Of course, if it does come to the U.S., there'll be a lot of cases to comb over, obviously. I see it. This probably
Robert. If radio had a way to throw a flag for a violation, that would be it right there, wouldn't it? I got to pick up my flag.
I tell you what, I'm looking at all three images in here, and I'm actually have the shiniest forehead. I think you guys used powder or something before this interview. I feel a little bad. I've got some reflection off of my dome.
It is a little bright there, but the lighting that you have seems to be a little bit more. We look kind of ghostly compared to that lighting that you have there. So.
I'm glad this is finally coming around, though. Because there's going to be some people that will have to pay. When this is falling in the corner.
I'm just going with it. I told somebody yesterday. I haven't used shampoo in like 15 years. I just put the soap on the rag and go all over.
When you use more toothpaste than shampoo, that's when you know that you're bald.
There is some study out there that's saying this, the shampoo. We had a story a couple of weeks ago of a guy who hasn't washed his hair, young man, in about 4 or 5 years. I guess he just rinses it, but he doesn't wash it with any soap or anything like that. And his hair, he was losing his hair, and his hair is thick as can be now. And that's kind of a wave that's, speaking of wave, that's kind of a wave that's moving through the younger people. But then again, so is not shaving under your arms for some women, so we hope it doesn't catch on. Ben, welcome back. It is I was checking a few seconds ago, and I mentioned that my son and daughter-in-law are in Italy. Just landed there yesterday, and I checked him. I follow him and was tracking him, and I say he was at the St. Peter's Basilica this morning. What a wonderful opportunity! But you just got back.
Yeah, we were over there. Actually, flew to Spain on March 12th, and led a group. All over Spain, filmed a new TV show that we're doing called Yonder Lust. And
what's the name of it?
Yonder Lust. It's a play on words from Wanderlust. The Wanderlust, the people that, like to travel. And so the southern version of that would be Yonder Lust.
Where's that gonna be shown?
So it'll be on PBS stations. Nationwide, and so we filmed in Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, Mallorca, Gibraltar, Seville, and Malaga. Had a great time. The 25 people that were with me on that trip, the cool thing about that is that 22 of the 25 had traveled with me before, and about half of that number, it was their 4th or 5th time. So this, it was just like a group of friends, traveling around the Spanish countryside. And we went from Spain, flew over to Tuscany, and I led 3 groups back to back to back in Tuscany over that part of where it was really my favorite part of Europe. That region, in the Chianti region, actually between Florence and Siena. We stay in a little town called Barberino Valdelsa. And when we're there, we're the only tourists that will be there all year. So it's very remote, it's very local, and we had 3 groups of 25. Then we had a friend group come over, just some of our friends from back home, and we had a great week. And I'm back, and good to be back. I love Italy, but I love Mississippi more.
It's always good to be home. Well, let me ask you, because your trip has just concluded, so post-COVID, if you want to call it that, did you find the restrictions a little bit better now? But did you have to wear a mask all the way over?
On the airline, I kind of kept a bottle of water with me all the time, so I was always looking like I was drinking water. But they were pretty. I think my wife, who's adamant, on the mask thing, on the other end of it, she didn't want to put it on. She kept it off most of the time. In Italy, we went in October, and they're pretty. It's still kind of a socialistic country in a lot of ways. They have what they call a green pass, which is a QR code that you needed to use. We were just showing our vaccination card or whatever, which they didn't know what they were looking at. They might as well have been looking at a lottery ticket or something. I had it on my phone. But they have a green pass, and that green pass is live. And so if somebody tests positive, they shut your green pass off over there, and you can't go anywhere. It's not America, but
was it any?
Right now things have lightened up over there a good bit.
What about the re-entry coming back into America? Did you had to be tested again?
Yeah, so we luckily some of the friends who flew over there, it was on their jet, and we just flew back with them. We flew over commercial and then flew back with these friends.
That's nice.
So, we went through customs up in Bangor, Maine, and it was pretty laid back.
Yeah. It is amazing. I was watching, I think it's only 2 episodes, and I believe it's on a CNN channel. It's Stanley Tucci, and he's got a new show. I forgot what it is, but it's well produced. It's a good show. But it is amazing. It's a country that has a lot of history as far as Italy, but it seems the history of food just consumes everything. Forget about wars, forget about all of the other history. Food and the history of food is just paramount to when you go over there. Art, I understand, true, but...
Art and architecture, and certainly literature and all of those things, but I'm with you. Food and wine kind of take precedent over there, and I've said it often that first time I ever went to Tuscany, that Tuscan region right there in the center of Italy, it felt a lot like the American South. And the people are very friendly. They're very hospitable. They love family. They love sharing a meal together. And it's an agrarian society. Instead of cotton and soybeans, they're growing grapes and olives. But it feels a lot like the South. I really connected to it. I've been all over the country, from southernmost tip of Sicily to the Alps. And so I've spent a lot of time there and really like all of it. I like the middle to the north more than I like the South, unless you're like in Amalfi or whatever. But it's very, very, very food oriented, as we are here. But the one thing we need to remember is that, the tomato is such a huge part of that culinary environment there, but that really came from America. They got corn, which they use in polenta, and tomatoes came from South America, but from our continent.
Did I ever tell you about the history of polenta for the Italian immigrants? How you're supposed to eat that? Is that a story that's widely? Would you like to hear that story? How you're supposed to eat polenta?
Yeah.
This probably evolved because it's a peasant food, and also there's something about gnocchis that embarrassed me greatly when I was in a Chicago Italian restaurant. I don't know if I'll share either one of those things, but we've got another segment with Robert St. John coming up. Hang on. Back with Robert St. John, who's back from Italy. But real quickly here, I'm not going to take a lot of time. In the old days, what we did, the same board that my mother made, homemade spaghetti, rolled it out and everything, was you'd bring this out, put it on the table. You only did it for gatherings when there were special occasions. But I was told that this is the way they did it back in the peasant days of Italy for her parents. but you poured it all out in the middle and put the big board, which was probably about 30 inches, 35 inches long, and you'd put it all out in the middle of the table, and you'd pour the polenta in the middle of it. Polenta's consistency is a little bit thicker than grits, but you'd put the meat in the middle of the table, in the middle of the polenta, okay? You pile it up all in the middle of the polenta, whatever the meat happened to be. And in the old days, it was hard to come by, whether they were shooting pigeons over there or what. And then you took a spoon and you cut a trail to it, and you had to eat the little ditch all the way to the ditch of the trail to that. And if you reach for the meat first, the spoon of one of the parents would probably bust your knuckles. So that way you wouldn't eat a lot of meat, and there would be some left over for the next one. And that's the way I grew up. You had to eat a trail. By the time you got there, you wouldn't eat but maybe one or two pieces of meat. So some of the great traditions, but a lot of that did come from peasant foods. And today go ahead.
That's very Italian. That's very Italian, and they're, especially in Tuscany, they're very aware of the digestive system and the order of the, you eat in a certain order. The salad comes after the entree over there, and it's all about digestion. But there's actually a pasta that translates from Italian into strangle the priest. And what that comes from is that when people would invite the priest over after Mass, a lot of times he would eat all the protein or all the meat or whatever. So they came up with a pasta that they would feed first that really fills you up before you get to the protein. They're trying to fill up the priest with this pasta before he got all the money and all the protein. But again, Tuscany, like Mississippi, we used the offcuts, and we learned to get creative with the cheaper cuts of meat, which a lot of times it's closer to the bone and it tastes better. And when you braise short rib, whether you're doing it in Mississippi or in Siena, that's really good eating.
A lot of the Italians from Mississippi, of course, in the Delta region, come from Ancona in that region, which is southeast of Rome on the sea. And it's regional as far as you could ask somebody there, do you know what this is? Like lonza, which is kind of like a prosciutto, and they would have no idea. But again, the same thing is made near the Po Valley somewhere, and they just call it something different. It is a regional, a lot of regional stuff. Yes.
Well, the thing about Italy, I mean, it was. You think about Italy in Italy was liberated somewhere around, or gained its independence around 1861, 64, somewhere in there. Around the time of our Civil War is when Italy became unified. If you think about it, they were city-states before then. And even to this day, Sicilians, if you live in Sicily, they really consider themselves Sicilians before Italians. In Rome, they consider themselves Roman before Italian, Tuscan before Italian, Florentine before Venetian, Milanese. There's still that culture. There's regionalism there. We have regionalism here too.
I remember my grandmother, and this probably is as bad as the N-word, but I remember she did not Siciliano. She was Ciciliano, and she said that to the point where it was not a compliment. She wasn't. She had some friends, and she didn't like them very well. But it is amazing. It's an incredible country. I was talking about the gnocchis, and I was in a Italian restaurant when I was real young and up there at school, and I got some gnocchis because I was just homesick, and I sent them back because they didn't taste right. And then I realized a long time later that we were used to making them with sweet potatoes in the Mississippi Delta, and they just tasted terrible. And I didn't know that. And a guy named Monsignor Canonici, I don't know if you ever talked to him, but Monsignor Canonici. Paul Canonici told me that they just switched over to sweet potatoes because that's what they had. And I said, well, that's the taste there. Before I let you go, I got to ask you about the state of the restaurant business now, as far as where we are in spring. What does it look like here in the state?
Well, Paul, we're miles away from where we were when you and I were talking 2 years ago. But the challenges are different now, and especially in Mississippi, business is back. But the challenges now are really twofold: labor and product, which is the product the food you buy, and the people you need to. We have 400 people that work for our company between the Jackson and Hattiesburg restaurants, and the struggle is real, and it's not just here; it's across the country, and it's worse in other places. But I'm not sure when that's going to shake out. There's some new paradigm that we've got to figure out where the labor pool is going to come from. It was there before COVID, and I'm told that a lot of this, assistance and stuff is gone, but there's not a lot of people out there willing to work these days. So
you got to wonder how they're living, how they're surviving.
And then the other challenge is just food prices. A lot of proteins are up 30%, and you get to a point, at least if you're in a restaurant, where you can only raise menu prices certain amount of. The other people are just going to go to grocery stores and say, I got to stay at home, and so that's a challenge. So those are the two biggest. But I'm told that maybe some of this supply chain stuff will shake out several months from now. I'm hoping 2023 is going to be better, but I'm going to tell you, I love what I do. I love being in the restaurant business. I'm passionate about it. So whatever challenges come, and it's not an easy business to be in, I'm willing to take those head on, and we're moving ever onward.
It was always tough. It's tougher now than it's been in our lifetime, and it's wonder that you have any hair left at all. And I can see where it starts growing here and not up there. I do want to ask you this: do you have a chef's recipe for baby formula?
You know what? It's funny you bring that up. And Extra Table, we had a meeting yesterday at Extra Table to see what we could do to try to find, because we're buying stuff by the truckload nowadays, and tuna and peanut butter and things like that, and bringing it in. And I do have a recipe for baby formula. Not that we are about to start making it, but let me pull it up on my computer right here.
I did while you're looking for it. I did pull one up. I did give one that we used when we were kids that had the Cairo syrup in it.
Yeah, here it is. 7 ounces of pet milk, 14 ounces of water, and 4 tablespoons of dextromaltose. And dextromaltose is a carbohydrate for energy and other things. So this is old school. So this is really important. I'm really glad you brought this up. For those out there who are having trouble getting baby formula, this is an old time, proven recipe. Again, 7 ounces of pet milk, which our grandmothers used all the time, 14 ounces of water. So it's 2-to-1 water and pet milk. And then 4 tablespoons of dextromaltose. And hopefully that's readily available now. Those things.
I'm sure you could Google it up. It's carnation milk, the same thing, isn't it? Is it both of them are evaporated milk?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So that's what we used to make when it snowed and made snow ice cream from.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's sweetened condensed milk or not. I think it's I think
it is.
Milk, isn't it?
Oh,
yeah, it was always in my grandmother's. Right, yeah. I don't use it, but it was always in my grandmother's pantry.
I
think that's more evaporated milk. Yeah, it's evaporated.
Most of
milk is evaporated milk, not sweetened condensed milk, which
evaporated. Right.
I made a mistake one time in a cookbook, and I'll tell you that story at another time. Remind me to tell you. When we mixed up sweetened condensed milk in the macaroni and cheese instead of evaporated milk, and you want to taste some horrid macaroni and cheese, make it with sweetened condensed milk. Not good. Not a good thing.
You could have saved it for dessert.
Yeah.
Robert's always good talking to you, sir. Appreciate it very much. Good to have you. Come see us.
Paul,
Robert St. John.
Thanks for everything you
got
do
it
for Mississippi.
You got it, man. Restaurateur, chef, columnist, author, and all-around good guy. By the way, that spare table, we didn't mention this, but is it on the website anywhere that people can check it out? Non-profit?
Yeah, extratable.org.
Extra table. Extratable.org. Go there, take a look at it, because you'll love what you